October 1916. The Somme. A hand reaches into mud-caked webbing, fingers numb, the tin is cold, always cold. Private Harry Patch pries open the lid with his bayonet, inside a congealed mass, grease solidified into white globs. Chunks of something that might once have been meat float in translucent jelly. He eats it anyway. This is what survival tastes like. For 4 years, across 400 miles of Western Front, millions of men learned this same bitter lesson. Wars are won not just with bullets and courage, but with calories. With tins that don't spoil, with bread hard enough to crack teeth, with rum that made hell almost bearable. This is what soldiers actually ate in the trenches of World War I. The promise. When Britain declared war in August 1914, each soldier was promised 10 ounces of meat a day, 8 ounces of vegetables, fresh bread, hot meals delivered from field kitchens behind the lines. 300,000 cooks and supply workers kept the system running. The British Army aimed for over 3,500 calories per man. But no one predicted the trenches. No one understood that a war of movement would freeze into mud, wire, and stalemate. Food left England warm. It arrived at the front cold. Fresh bread arrived stale, and calorie counts collapsed. By 1916, the meat ration was cut almost in half. For soldiers not on the front line, meat disappeared from the menu entirely for weeks. The promise had broken. Survival replaced it. Bully beef. Open any soldier's memoir and one food appears again and again. Bully beef. 12-ounce tins of dense, salted beef swimming in jelly-like fat. Metallic. Overpoweringly salty. A smell that never left your hands. Day after day, men ate bully beef, bread and hard biscuits. So often that some cheered when a shell destroyed a supply dump of it. They tried everything to make it edible, frying it with crushed biscuits, mixing it with onions, potatoes, or sultanas scavenged or sent from home. But nothing ever truly hid its taste. Harry Patch remembered, "You were lucky if you got some bully beef and a biscuit." Lucky. Macanochi's stew. Then there was macanochi, the infamous canned stew of turnips, carrots, potatoes, beans, onions, and beef. Cold, it was a solid mass of fat and pale lumps. Warm, it was tolerable, barely. One soldier said, warmed in the tin, macanochi was edible. Cold, it was a man-killer. It caused indigestion, nausea, and flatulence. An extra misery in trenches already filled with the stench of death, mud, and latrines. Still, when it was all that arrived, soldiers ate it. Because they had to. The biscuits that could break teeth. Then came the biscuits. Army No. 4 hardtack. Flour, water, salt. Baked hard as stone. Soldiers called them molar breakers, sheet iron, and dog biscuits. You couldn't bite them. You had to smash them with rifle butts or rocks. Many soaked them in tea for days just to soften them. For men with terrible dental health, they were torture. Some soldiers carved them into picture frames. Some wrote messages on them. One wrote, "Your king and country need you, and this is how they feed you." Humor was survival. Water, tea, and the taste of petrol. Clean water was rare and dangerous. It arrived in petrol cans, tasting of fuel. Cooks drowned the water in chlorine to make it safe. The tea they brewed tasted like a swimming pool. But tea was the closest thing to home. They drank it constantly. In the freezing dawn, gripping a hot mess tin of strong black tea felt like salvation. The rum ration. The rum ration became ritual, 2.5 ounces per man. More before attacks. Officers guarded the jars marked SRD. Soldiers joked it meant soon runs dry. The rum burned, dark and strong. For many, it was liquid courage. One soldier wrote, "If we had not had the rum, we would have died." A medical officer later testified, "If not for the rum ration, we might not have won the war." It didn't heal the body, it healed morale. Germany's hunger. While British troops suffered monotony, German soldiers faced starvation. The Allied blockade strangled imports, fertilizer disappeared, horses were seized, farmers were conscripted. Then came the catastrophic turnip winter of 1916 to 1917. Potatoes rotted in the fields, civilians lived on animal-feed turnips. Daily calories dropped to 1,000. Bread contained sawdust. 80,000 children died of starvation in 1916 alone. Germany was being defeated not just in battle, but in its kitchens. Filth you couldn't escape. Everything in the trenches was contaminated, mud got into food, flies swarmed from latrines and corpses to soldiers' meals. Rats the size of cats thrived, feeding on everything, including the dead. Terriers were brought in to kill rats. They could kill scores in an hour. Still the rats came, still the men ate, still the war ground on. November 11th, 1918. The guns fell silent. 10 million soldiers dead, 20 million wounded, empires collapsed, and one truth emerged. The side that could feed its armies won. Britain, France, and America kept men supplied, barely, but enough. Germany starved. Food shaped the outcome of the First World War. Veterans carried the memory of those rations for the rest of their lives. Many saved their biscuits as relics. Some joked darkly about bully beef at reunions. Everyone remembered Makanochi. Harry Patch lived to 111. Even 90 years later, he recalled the rations. You were lucky if you got some bully beef and a biscuit. Lucky. Epilogue. Today's military rations are scientific miracles. Self-heating meals, thousands of calories, coffee, chocolate. But in museums around the world, you'll still find tins of Makanochi, Frey Bento's bully beef, and rock-hard biscuits from 1914. Still intact, still waiting. Because food wasn't just nutrition, it was memory, connection, proof that someone, somewhere, wanted you to live. Even if that food tasted like hell. This is what soldiers actually ate in the trenches of World War I.